In the winter semester of last year, I took a project community course where we worked with the American Friends Service Committee. AFSC is an organization that connects people who are incarcerated to offer them support, resources, and tools to help them during and after their time in prison. Throughout the course, we would receive and write letters to people in Michigan jails who voiced their experiences. I read firsthand about how poor the prison conditions truly are today and how that affected these individuals we were in contact with. One thing that stood out was how many added stressors these people face, whether that stem from navigating life in prison or dealing with the disparities that the system has in place. The people we talked to expressed several complaints with their environment, which seemed especially detrimental to their well being. So, how bad has the state of prisons been throughout the years? And what implications do they have on these individuals' mental health? If we look back at the history of poor treatment for prisoners, we don't have to go very far back to find examples of exploitation and abuse. After emancipation in the 13th Amendment, there was another form of slavery that existed for black people in America, known as convict leasing. Convict leasing describes the process where private industries and landowners would rent targeted black prisoners to perform forced labor for monetary gain. The company owners could exploit these people for sources of profit while also not having to worry about labor disputes. These prisoners would work in horrible conditions for very long hours and not see a cent. For instance, they would be forced to work mines for hours on end, which was extremely dangerous and unethical. Convict leasing was an element of prisons that had horrible effects on black individuals' mental health. Being separated from their families and communities would result in a lot of trauma and stress. In addition, the mental and physical exhaustion from all this work, all while not being compensated, would take an immense toll on these individuals. Today, the quality of prisons fails to support the sanity of those who are incarcerated, especially since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. The environment of jails and prisons have been dismal in a different form. Due to the mass incarceration rates in the United States, prisons are very overcrowded. As a result, prisons were hit hard by the pandemic, and the people who were incarcerated during this time were at an extremely high risk for contracting the disease. Several individuals we talked through AFSC would report that the internal classes and programs that people needed to take in order to be eligible for parole were canceled due to the virus, which means it held up the process for the people to reach their potential release. As a result, these people were essentially forced to stay longer in an environment that was already neglecting their health. Not to mention, there had to be much more added stress placed on these individuals because they couldn't take the necessary steps forward to being released. Additionally, we were informed that the people who contracted the disease were sent to solitary confinement not as a punishment, but as a way to create some sort of social distancing while in jail. Not only is solitary confinement harmful to someone's mental health in general, it also exacerbates an individual's already existing mental health problems by depriving an individual of any human interaction. From past to present, the conditions within prisons have proved to cause negative impacts on the mental health of those who have been incarcerated. Prisons in general do an inadequate job of helping individuals who come in with mental health problems already. The dehumanizing environment the jail establishes then makes it harder to cultivate a healthy mindset. A system that claims to be a place of restoration actually neglects the health of human beings. All this goes to show how people's overall health and well-being have been compromised as a result of the state of prisons.